Bringing people and communities together on seclosounds.org.
Your listening station.
Hi, I'm Terry Sullivan and welcome to this week's Sticks Radio Show. On the show today I have two guests. In a little while I'll be talking to Christianne Wolff. She's a celebrity trainer. She's also just written a book called The Body Rescue Plan. It's a 12-week plan. How will you lose 2.5 stone? That'd be great. I really could do with that. But first on the show I have a gentleman called Chris Grayson. He's the gentleman behind Open Mic UK. He'll be telling us all about that after this first record. Let's get the show started with a song that's recently been voted favourite Motown song. This is Marvin Gaye, and I heard it through the grapevine. Today on the show I have the man behind Open Mic UK. I have Chris Grayson. How are you doing, Chris?
Yeah, how are we going?
Yeah, great. So tell us a little bit about Open Mic UK.
Yeah, Open Mic, it's been going since 2008, and it's the biggest music search in the country because we go to more regions than any other competition out there. We go up to Glasgow and obviously Milton Keynes and as far as Exeter and all sorts really. And pretty much in a search for singers, singer-songwriters, any genres to just get involved.
I did count up, it's 17 venues you're doing.
Yeah, it's quite a few. It keeps us from, pretty much from the start all the way through. But we have a couple of teams that work really hard, and we soon sort of get round really.
Because are you the man behind Future Music?
That's right. Yeah, Future Music runs sort of open mic and Teen Star, so the management company as well. So there's quite a lot going on all year round, really.
Yeah, because you've discovered Luke Friend, Jacob Banks, Birdie, Lucy Sprangen, and Union J's Jameel Hensley, is it? My pronunciation's terrible.
I always say Jamie J.
Jamie J, is it? Okay, Jamie J. That's good. Well, we go with that one. So, I mean...
Yeah, we've been really fortunate right from the outset. We had 12 years old, winning 2008, and then more recently, obviously, Luke Friend doing so well on the back of winning Teen Star straight into X Factor, and I'm sure everyone's looking forward to his album coming out hopefully later this year.
Yeah, and I mean, there's thousands of pounds worth to be won in prizes and lots of other things, but the main prize is £5,000 in cash to spend.
Well, that's it. And as much as the prizes, actually, there's a bigger prize to gain from all of it, really, and that's the ability to get on stage, have that live experience, get feedback, and lots of helpful tips and helps to sort of move you on your way with your music career, really. So that's that's almost invaluable. But yeah, some undoubtedly will have ideas of getting to that grand final. We've obviously got all the A&R from the big three major record labels and hopefully winning that prize. But even if you're just starting out singing and everyone in your family tells you you're good, come along and see where you're at with your singing, and hopefully even the worst comes out of it, you'll get some really good, helpful advice to get on to the next level.
Well, I think people who know me, if I get up on stage, it'd probably be great laughter. If I started singing, it's not great, I'm afraid. But what would a young person looking to start out singing and looking to become the next big thing, shall we say? What advice would you offer them?
Well, I think to do as many things as you can. I think the foremost is to get out there and perform as much as you can, and start to then just think about every aspect of how you want to be and where you feel happy with your music. I mean, it's important that you start to write songs or change songs around. So, again, we see it in the competition. We've got the under-16s. Less of them write their own music. Some of them do. But what we try and do is encourage to just play around with the song. Don't just do the song in the same way. Play around with the lyrics maybe, the way it's phrased, a few licks, vocal licks and runs and stuff like that, just to make it your own. And I think that's the more you can go out and perform, the more you can just change and make things your own style until you find your own style is a real good starting point.
Yeah, so do you find most of the artists are doing covers, or is it their own stuff they're doing, or?
It varies around. I think with the youngsters, you have a good sort of spread. Most will do covers. You will get those of the original songs. Once you get into the old age categories, over 21, a lot more do their own songs. So almost with the age categories, you can see the development with the songwriting, really.
So I'm not a musician at all, but I heard if you're going to do a cover, you either try and do it exactly as the original artist did it, and that's always dangerous, or you have to do it completely differently.
I don't necessarily think completely differently, but I think you need to put your own
twist on it, yeah.
Change. I think if you're going to try and do, we hear a lot, especially the youngsters, Jessie J and Adele, you do exactly the same. You're going to come up short, I think, in a lot of cases, and it's going to be a bit uninteresting. And so picking something that's a bit left field, maybe picking a song that a male vocalist does, making it if you're female, or vice versa. It's always a good starting point because your range will be different in the first place. So already it's going to make people look up and see it different. So there's lots of different things you can do, even if you're making a start, but getting to think about it is the first thing, and then obviously then putting it into practice and seeing what you're comfortable with and what you enjoy,
So, I mean, obviously we go back to where people can take part in the open mic in a little while, but I mean, obviously you have a great sort of a musical background. You've been you're a musical promoter, you're an event organizer, a record producer, a musician, a talent scout, and a label owner.
That sounds very impressive.
You've got a big head for all those hats, but no, that wasn't meant to sound like that. But a lot of hats, a lot of jobs.
Yeah, there's quite a few, and I think in this day and age, even going back down to sort of the singers that enter competition, almost you need to take more control, not just be a singer yourself. You need you need to be a sort of fashion expert. You need to be sort of someone that can work the social media. You need to be someone that can take care of your business and your affairs and have a certain amount of sales about you. So whatever profession you choose, if you want to be good at it, you've got to learn or have at least an idea of what or other disciplines of it. I'm fortunate enough that I have had successes with stuff, and that helps you and breeds obviously confidence to sort of go forward with it. But as with all things, we've all failed, and actually that's fine. It's better to have failed miserably than not to have given it a go in the first place. And you learn more from maybe your failures than you do to successes sometimes.
Well, that's why even the big businessmen, people like Richard Branson, he's had failures along the way. He's had huge success, but he's also had a couple of failures on the way, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, the ability that he's got is to turn it around and either think like that's not working, or actually, I can do this, and that, and I can see how it can work. I mean, I think it's having enough confidence and enough sort of insight to think that will work in the long run, and just, I guess, with all things, making your weaknesses your strengths, and if it still comes up short, you've given it a go. I think McLaren Malcolm McLaren, who actually judged one of our, before he died, always said that, I'd rather be an epic failure than, to sort of play it safe and never have tried, do you know what I mean? There's a famous quote he gave. And it was interesting that, because his concepts were quite interesting in the sense that whenever he had successes with his, there was almost like a culture around it as well, a culture, an image, a whole ethos that went with either the punk movement or the double Dutch or whatever he did. Yeah. And I think we're, maybe not in a completely transparent one or scene at the moment, but these things will come along, and you have to have elements of that to give yourself that edge. I suppose someone like, Lady Gaga is a massive extreme version of that. There's a persona, and there's an edge, and there's an image that goes along with it. Yeah. And then it makes you interested, and it's brought into that. And I think the most important thing for any artist is to have that, convey a personality, and it's more important than just singing your heart out. It's just one element of many, really. Yeah, I mean, that meat dress was, made her famous. She was all over every newspaper, every media outlet when she wore the meat, the dress with the meat on. Plus, she cleared London out with stray dogs as well.
I think so. Yeah, I think she did. And how did you get into the music business, Chris? How did you actually start off?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much started off when I was at university and got involved in a few events, and it interested me. And then I suddenly thought, actually, I'm selling a couple of hundred tickets for this event. I fancy putting one on myself, and actually didn't sell this many myself, but really sold 100. But I thought, and then suddenly you get the bug for it, and then you suddenly realise that actually, well, I do this differently and that differently, and a lot of things are timing as well as hard work. You suddenly evolve from that, and then suddenly the events start to work for me, and I went further and further afield with obviously the events, and ended up doing a massive event in Wembley in the end in '96, which was enjoyable but exhausting at the same time. And out of that, I was approached by so many sort of acts and DJs that wanted to, me to bring their sort of their stuff out, and we sort of developed and sort of had a full record label. So it was a hugely vibrant, period for that, for the scene I was in at the time. And I'm sure we'll come around it, again. The music industry is so, changing, and obviously even today you can see, suddenly YouTube are going to charge subscribers to watch videos, and there's got to be somewhere where it changes so that there's more money for artists that go out there and make their own music. But we sit tight and see what opportunities come up, really. Yeah, because you were saying in the early 90s or 96 you did the Wembley state out, and you also did Milton Keynes, didn't you? But you pulled in some big names, Judge Jules, DJ Spoonie, Fabio, and Groove Rider as well. I mean, they're sort of, at the time, they were the huge names in that kind of genre, weren't they? Absolutely. I mean, they're all still DJing now. Yeah, of course, yeah. They're doing so well. People like Carl Cox, probably only plays like a couple of times a year in this country. It's such a massive international artist. And, at that time, it was a really vibrant scene. Everyone, it was more dance-related in that time. Everyone wanted to be a part of it, and it was a bit of a young culture, really. It was something that the nightclubs and your general kind of local venues weren't doing. So it made it a real vibrant scene, and people would travel for it. Whereas, I suppose with every scene that comes along, each generation, I suppose there's that feeling that something's happening and something's different, and the energy that goes with it. And I think that certainly was in the 90s with that. Because you're based in Portsmouth. Live in Southampton, actually. Southampton? Yes, pretty South Coast based. Yeah. And, for in terms of the competition, I generally sort of do all the, the sort of, when the competition gets a little bit more at, on the line, and do a lot of the South Coast ones. And then we've obviously got another team that sort of goes around up to Glasgow and Newcastle, working really hard to sort of make sure the right acts come through, really. So is
the South Coast, is it sort of very vibrant still on the because you used to have a record shop in Portsmouth. Have you still got that, or?
No, I mean, God,
gone.
London days a record.
I was going to
shop,
say.
mate. I think there's very few and far between. You
They
get
are.
second-hand ones here and there, don't you? But yeah, I mean, I know it's a great thing with the record shop. I mean, I remember sort of running that. I mean, I used it as a base, but I mean, it would always lose money. I never made money for it, probably because I didn't have the I was spread too thin with the nights and the record labels to worry about it. But it was a good base, and it did bring probably indirectly a lot of people sort of into the business. But I admire anyone that runs a shop. It's very difficult. It's difficult, especially online, to make those things work, really.
Yeah. Is the South Coast sort of very vibrant? Because it's not the sort of... I mean, the only people I know from Eastbourne are Top Loader. They're the only sort of...
I mean, I think...
that area.
What you include on the South Coast, I mean, I think certainly from... you go sort of southwest, and people like Luke Friend and down in Cornwall and Devon is a fantastic. I don't know what it's the air down there, but they seem to always have a different vibe with their music. That's always very good. And Southampton, you sort of Band of Skulls, is it from Southampton? You get quite a few sort of generic bands, but you probably hit something on the head there. There's not enough acts coming through and coming through on TV shows to sort of really be encouraged, really, and that's why the competition and doing all different things is so vital, just to get your own name out there and keep pushing yourself forward. Yeah,
because I mean, do you? I mean, I suppose that the Open Mic UK would be sort of compared with, say, X Factor and the likes of Pop Idol or whatever that has been on TV. I mean, how was it different? How would you say it was different?
Yeah, it's massively different. I mean, foremost, they're looking for engaging TV, which in one part sort of, is good. They might get some good personalities, but they're not necessarily, getting the best singers through. And sometimes, yes, your personality can come out on stage, but, we're not looking for suddenly, car crash or anything like that for a TV show. So we're judging it on what we see in front of us and on stage. And obviously, we're trying to go out to people and trying to go to give them that experience and that development. And I think you see with a lot of our acts, and Birdie's one, and Luke Friend's another one that comes to mind, and Jermaine Douglas as well, actually. They do the competition 2 or 3 years, and you just see them getting better each year. X Factor is one of many opportunities, but you have to be very fortunate, and he does seem to have a little bit of a story to kind of maybe put you on, or to make good TV. So we differ very differently from that. We're much more of a development type thing. We're much kind of sort of judging what we see. All the judges that come along are probably the first time they've seen all the acts that are on stage, and they mark it as they see. And it's sometimes not everyone will agree with it, but that's what those judges saw on that day. And it's very, very different. X Factor is undoubtedly a very good opportunity for anyone that gets on it. And I wouldn't knock any act that went on it, but you do have that element of luck to be sort of getting onto those shows. Having said that, Luke had a persona. It wasn't necessarily a story, and I think what he did was worked X Factor very well in the sense that he didn't just do covers. He did make them his own all the time, and I think he hopefully took that away from the competition to put him in good stead.
So would you say sort of X Factor's right here, right now, where you're looking for sort of people who could be developed?
Absolutely, yeah. I think we're much more in development, especially with our younger age categories. I know that X Factor's opened that up again this year. Even for Birdie as 12 one, it clearly had, was good enough and had the opportunity to make it through and beat everyone older and younger than her. But as I say, that it's the 2 or 3 year process. We're aware of the ones that are going to be there or thereabouts towards the later stages, and there's others that come in fresh for the first time. But X Factor, very rarely do you sort of see someone popping up again. You might in the early auditions you get it, but I guess they're looking for different things, and they need to get a nice little mixture of the age categories come to TV shows, really.
So do you have a lower age limit on your show, on your competition?
No, we don't, and
so,
it's always a good question, and one that's been put to us a few times. Isn't that a bit young for them to go up there? You cannot hold some of these kids back. There's sometimes they're 7, 8, and they just, they're born to be on that stage. And as long as they're under 16 and let the parents know what they're doing, they're already keen as mustard to get up there and want to do it. We had one young lady, just 8 years, Lucy Simmons, is done the competition a couple of years now, and she's in the Miserable, in the West End.
Mm-hmm.
So she can do it. She's a very hugely impressive and talented girl, and we see them as young as that, and sometimes a little bit younger, sort of singing superbly and learning what they need to do.
Do you have an upper age limit?
No, we don't have upper age.
You don't?
We do
Okay.
sort of, advise that if you're not doing an original song beyond a certain age, that it's worth considering this competition for you. But Heidi Brown won it last year, 28. So you've had anything from 12 to 28 win it. Who knows? I mean, you've got Robin Thicke and these sort of artists coming through these days. With someone classify them as middle age. So they're just you don't need to put an age to it necessarily.
So was it last year you had 10,000 people apply?
Yeah, we had 10,000 apply. It's quite a few, and obviously the audition. Everyone's looking to get through those auditions. That's the key one to start with. And once you're through the auditions, you then go through to the live shows. And obviously, most people will have obviously got their eyes on the grand final, which is a great occasion.
And is that the Indigo again?
We've done it within the O2 pretty much every year, apart from the last competition, which was at the NEC. And so we're proud to be going to the NEC this time. We love going to the O2, but actually the venue was probably a bit too big. So the NEC allows us to sort of have a real good atmosphere, and also it's a bit kinder for everyone around the country, because
it's in the middle, isn't it?
Too far from all to get to.
So you're obviously still open, even though it starts, and is it Saturday the 23rd of August is the first heat, isn't it? Actually, that's at the NEC in Birmingham.
We normally start off with sort of Birmingham, Manchester, London, sort of kickstart off with a bit of a bang, and then just sort of filter our way out, and often have to go back to London to do it later in the audition process. But it's filling up straight now. Obviously, we're looking for people to prepare and practice ahead of their audition as well. So it's a good opportunity to get involved now, really.
So when's the last time anybody can enter? When's do you know when the cut-off date, the last final day you can enter?
Well, pretty much you can enter probably until it gets full, basically. And I know Birmingham is obviously one that always gets really full up. So it's best to enter now. But we have had in the past, Birmingham getting full up 2-3 weeks beforehand. Same as the London ones as well. So it's a good idea to get your entry in now, and it's a small £5 admin fee that just sort of covers your audition, and from there you're in and running. Okay,
so you have limited people at each venue.
Yeah, once we start getting sort of plus 500 at each audition, you're suddenly thinking we're not going to be able to audition everyone in a day. That's too many. So that's generally where we either consider doing a second one later in the tour, or that's probably it. And with something like a Birmingham, that's generally how we go, because there's a few other areas around that you could probably go to if that gets filled up, for example.
So you have to be an unsigned act?
Yeah, have to be unsigned. We don't mind if you've bought your record out independently or it's a little bit of a cottage label, but anyone signed to a major label or a major independent would certainly not qualify. There's plenty of opportunities out there, even at the early outset. Lots of feedback to be had. There's judges that can help you along the way as well, and who knows, you could get yourself at that grand final.
That'd be great. Shall we quickly run through the date for the Milton Keynes one? It's Saturday, and then all Saturday and Sundays, and it's Saturday the 20th of September. It's at Milton Keynes Conference Centre, which is in Strudwick Drive. I know I've been there recently, and if people want to apply, there's a website, isn't there?
Google it, or the website. It's Open Mic UK. If you want to Google it, it's www.openmicuk.co.uk. And as I say, there's also a wealth of tips and handy features on there: how to songwrite, how to perform on stage, to really help you along the way. And have a look at that, see the judges, and get yourself entered. Okay,
that's great. Thank you. We're almost out of time. I'm going to leave you, let you go, because I know you're a busy man getting this organised. I hope that's inspired people to come on to take part. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Chris.
Yeah, thanks very much. And as I say, anyone knows singer, songwriters out there, get them involved, and there's really nothing to lose by giving it a whirl, really. Thanks very much.
MK Flyers Online, the fast and simple way to find any kind of business or service locally. Find us at mkflyersonline.co.uk or download the MK Flyers mobile app from your app store. MK Flyers Online proudly supports Seclo Sounds, community radio for Milton Keynes.
Gary Fitz here, every Monday, 10 o'clock.
Coming up, we've got Eric and Ernie.
Join me here on Seclo Sounds.
In your smile.
It's from 1975. Eric and Ernie were four.
Gary, it's not Eric and Ernie, it's Earl and Ernie, the Cape Brothers, Union Man.
Oh, I see. Gary Fitz here, every Monday, 10 o'clock.
Earl and Ernie.
Today on the show I have a personal trainer, a fitness guru, a lady called Christianne Wolff. How you doing, Christianne?
Christianne.
Christianne.
I'm really good, thanks.
I'm great. I mean, you've just written a book which has been serialised in the Daily Express, called The Body Rescue Plan, and it's the ultimate 12-week plan to lose up to 2.5 stone through detoxing, mindset, and fitness.
Yes.
I think probably we could all do with that, including me.
Yeah.
What does
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
So, how does the book differ from, shall we say, the volumes that we've seen of other, shall we say, fitness books?
Well, this really leaves no stone unturned. So, most fitness or diet books are just diet-based or just fitness-based, and they don't really go into the mindset of why you put on the weight or why you can't lose the weight or why you can't maintain your weight loss. So with this, I really go into, in very great detail, exactly why are you not losing the weight, why can't you keep it off, and then we go through mindset program to kind of unravel what's going on. And in most people's cases, it tends to be a sort of self-sabotage, not a lack of self-worth, or problems with guilt, or there's something negative going on there that's making them put on weight again. So I go through that, and then we have a mindset section, a detox section, and again, most diet and fitness books don't really go into the detox side of things. The 5-2 diet is really, really popular at the moment, but that just kind of concentrates on having a low-calorie diet a few days a week, and it doesn't really go into how to be healthy and how to feel amazing and how to get all the crap out of your system and, feel alive. And I know people who've done the 5-2 diet and all drink Diet Coke all day long and feel rubbish, So it's really just getting your mind detoxed, your body detoxed, and then I offer a 12-week plan where I tell you exactly what you can eat and drink. I show you all the recipes. I show you all the exercises. And it's really, really easy to follow because there's no weighing, measuring, counting calories, counting fat grams, nothing. It's just very, very simple.
It sounds almost too good to be true.
Well, everyone who's done it has had amazing success with it, and it's a combination of what I've learned in the fitness industry. I've been a personal trainer for the last 18 years. I've dabbled in diets myself. I went through a trauma myself, which made me put on weight, and it kind of really made me look at it and go, okay, this is more than just diet and fitness. This is real mindset stuff that I've got to get over myself. And when I did that, I knew I could help other people do it as well.
So you say you've been doing it for 18 years. What sort of... I know there was obviously a personal tragedy. I'm not going to pry into that one. But when did you sort of get into the fitness side of things? What sort of inspired you that? I mean, at school, I was good at two things, sport and art. I did a degree in art and design, and I became a climbing instructor, actually, initially, just because the climbing wall was opening locally, and this was, going back 20 years ago. And at the time, it was when the fitness industry just started to boom. There was a lot of aerobics classes going on, and the local gym just said, "Do you want to train as an aerobics instructor?" And I thought that would be good, just to get a bit of money to pay for me while I create my amazing sculptures and things like that. And then it just took off, and loads of people started asking me for personal training, and then I started training celebrities, and then I started getting in the press, and my business was booming, so I never looked back. So you've looked after celebrities, you worked on films. Is there any you can actually tell us you've actually worked with, or are you under the cloak of secrecy?
Well, some people ask you to be secret, and some people don't mind so much. The most famous I've trained is Pierce Brosnan and Grace Scott.
Wow.
And I trained them both on films, and yeah, it was wonderful.
So did you train? Was that would that have been around the time when Piers was doing Bond?
Yes, it was. It was on his last Bond, actually. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That must have been great fun.
It was really good fun. Yeah, I trained him and his wife at their house.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a Bond anorak, so.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, afraid so. So. I've seen them all more than once. I was at the premiere of the last Daniel Craig one myself. I managed to blag a ticket with Virgin Atlantic. Perhaps I won't tell you how I got that. But you obviously you look after the complete package. If I understand it right, not being a big fitness man, people who know me obviously know I don't do not hugely into fitness. Probably one of my downfalls. But you look after, not only do you look after the body, which I know obviously a lot of the books do, but there's a big recipe book, a lot of recipes in this book as well, sugar free. But you look after sort of like you do the meditation as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Explain to me. I mean, I'm not been a meditator myself, and I'm very careful how I said that. Explain to me, or explain to everybody else about meditation.
Yeah, meditation. People get very confused by meditation. They think that you have to be part of a religion, or that you have to have, you have to be a monk, or that you have to be doing a yoga class and Om. But meditation is just simply finding space in your mind and allowing your thoughts to. There's a few different meditations. There's guided meditation, which is what I teach and what is on my CD, which is part of the book, and that is really guiding you and telling you what to do in your thoughts and in your mind. And then there's other meditations where you just allow your thoughts to dissipate and just allow that space and clarity. And we have such crazy busy lives, all of us, me included, where we're on, we can't have a moment's peace. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're shopping, we've got people shouting at us. There doesn't seem to be any time we just allow for ourselves. And even when people go to bed now, they watch TV, they've got a laptop on their lap, they've got a phone in their hand, and they don't even have peace in their bedrooms. So it's just really allowing that clarity and that peace and that time to reflect and understand why you might be reacting or acting the way you do. So in particular with foods, what my CD on my book is about, the way you react with foods, and it could be because you're so busy, you just don't even give yourself time to really think about what your limiting beliefs are or what your trigger points are. So it's just allowing that space and that time to figure that out.
Because, I mean, I don't know if this is true. I've heard this, if you have a lot of sugar in the mornings, you then crave it all day. Is that correct?
Yeah, sugar is, again, the Body Rescue Plan, there's a big section on detoxing, and one of the things that you have to do when you're detoxing is give up sugar. What sugar does is it makes your body produce cortisol, which is a hormone that kind of wakes you up. And this hormone makes you actually hold on to fat if you have too much of it. And things like sugar and caffeine and alcohol will make you... so what it does is it gives you a burst of energy for about half an hour or so, and then when that energy drops, it actually drops lower than what you were at before. So then you feel like you need it again, so then you have more sugar to pick you up again. So, yeah, if you have it first thing in the morning, you're just going to be in that cycle of up, down, up, down, up, down throughout the whole day.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I cut back recently on my coffee intake, because I was coffee and Coke I was drinking copious amounts. I think it's because of the lifestyle I lead, perhaps slightly, which is perhaps not a good thing. Yeah,
well, you've got into the habit of, having that as your source of energy, when actually, if you stop having it, your body can create its own energy tenfold, but you've just got into the habit of using that as your energy.
So, how do you find the media pressure on, I mean, like the young girls, I've got some friends who've got like teenage daughters, top end of teenage, 18, the media pressure of the zero sizes. How do you sort of feel about that? And
I think it's really sad. I mean, when I was younger, it was the same thing. Although when I was a teenager, the kind of role models I had was Cindy Crawford and Helena Christensen, and women who were a bit more warrior-like. You know, they were strong women, they were tall, they were broad-shouldered, they weren't waifs. And then when Kate Moss came around, then all the waves suddenly came along. And I just hope there's definitely more of an influx in the media now of kind of fitter-looking women and more muscular, not muscle-bound, but just more toned-looking women and stronger women. And I hope that takes more precedent now in the press, and we kind of get away from the whole size zero waif-like image.
Yeah, I must
it's not
admit,
healthy, and you're not going to live very long like that.
No, I must admit, it doesn't do it for me. I must admit, I still have a very soft spot for a lady called Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
Gorgeous.
she was dead not long after I was born, actually.
Right.
But I look at her, and to me, she's the epitome of a woman.
She's amazing.
My wife probably won't thank me for saying that, but there we go.
Well, when I was a kid, my grandfather used to live in LA actually, and he used to host parties for celebrities, and he had lots of pictures of him and Marilyn Monroe. He was my first idol. I used to look at his photos in absolute awe. She's beautiful.
She is a lovely lady. I had the pleasure of going to Coronado Island in San Diego a few years ago, and there's a hotel there where they shot some like a hotspot pictures of her, and I wandered around there, and it was just absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. So in your book you've got 53 recipes.
Yes.
All are sugar-free.
Yes.
Is there any other sort of dietary sort of accounts there, like gluten-free, or is anything like that?
Yeah, a lot of them are gluten-free, wheat-free. Yes. They basically go with the whole plan. So the plan is, the first couple of weeks you detox, and then every week after that you introduce a food per week or a few foods per week. And it's really to understand what foods agree with you and what foods don't agree with you, because we're all different. So there are loads of diets out there that are kind of saying, yes, this will fit all, but actually maybe not necessarily. It might not necessarily work for you. So this diet is really allowing you to cater it for yourself. If this food doesn't work for you, then cut it out for a few more weeks. You can gradually allow foods back in your diet that you are intolerant to, but just may take a bit of time to reintroduce them. So, yep, there are gluten-free ones. Really, really nice sugar-free recipes. Absolutely delicious. I've got chocolate cake in there, chocolate brownies.
Can't make me feel hungry now.
But they're made with really unusual ingredients like sweet potatoes and other vegetable sources that you wouldn't necessarily think about using.
So, I mean, there's been a big thing in the press of a little bit of recently about the fruit sugars are included in some of the things, the natural sugars rather than the stuff they add. And, it was quite, I must admit, after I think I saw it on the TV, it may have even been you presenting it, I can't remember who it was I saw, they're on about the amount of fruit sugars that are in some of these products.
Yeah.
And it's shocking.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of confusion there about fruit sugars because, in fact, a friend of mine said it to me the other day. She said, why are you drinking orange juice? That's as bad for you as Coke. And I was like, well, it's actually not. If you were going to choose between the two, you should choose orange juice because orange juice has got nutrients in it. Coke hasn't. So I think there is quite a lot of confusion after all that media stuff. There always is when the media go mad about a story. There are a lot of nutrients in fruit, and a lot of those nutrients will balance out the sugar levels for you. But if you have something that's concentrated and a lot of it, it obviously is bad for you.
Yeah, I must admit, because it worried me because I like the old smoothies. I must admit, well, I won't tell you, I better not say the brand name, but the one that you're not guilty of, I quite enjoy those. And I was thinking, oh no, something else I'm going to have to give up. I'm getting to the old stage where, at my age, giving up things, there's going to be nothing left for me to have soon.
Well, I think you have to really listen to your body, and if those fruit drinks. I think I know the bottles you mean. They're quite small bottles, the ones that you can get.
Can be.
That size won't harm you. And if you listen to your body, and if it's affecting you negatively when you have it, is it making you feel good? Is it making you feel bad? Listen to yourself. I'm sure if you had the alternative as Coca-Cola or Coke, I should say, you'd get a hit of adrenaline and insulin and cortisol, and you'd feel rubbish after half an hour. So, it's a better bet.
No, I must admit, I do quite enjoy them. It's one of them things. I'm actually drinking some lemon juice while I'm talking to you, actually. But I love that sort of thing. It's something I had as a kid, and it's something I've just recently gone to lime juice, and I find I had to go to somebody's house and they had this lime juice, and I tried that, and I fell back in love with it again. I hadn't had any for probably 10 years, and it's one of them things I fell in love with, and I thought, so I drink probably too much of that now, which is probably not good for me either, but never mind.
Well, everything in moderation.
Yeah.
Lemon and hot water is amazing to have first thing in the morning. It really alkalizes your body, so it stops your body being too acidic. If you have an acidic body, that can lead to disease, so and stress as well. So if you have lemon in hot water first thing in the morning, it's amazingly alkalizing. It's really good for you.
So what would you say is your favourite recipe in the book?
There's so many. What shall I choose? I would say, well, my favourite pudding is the apple crumble, the apple and quince crumble. That's absolutely delicious. Again, it's sugar-free, and I love apple crumble, so to have a sugar-free option for me is amazing, and it's not particularly calorific either if you're looking at calories. And the savoury one, probably the stuffed butternut squash is really, really yummy.
Is it? So how do you make the crumble then if you don't put sugar in it?
Oh, you'll have to buy the book.
Oh, that's naughty, that is, isn't it? That's naughty. No, I must admit, because I put coconut in mine. When I make it up, instead of putting too much sugar in, I put coconut in.
Yeah, coconut's really.
And I find that really works, and it crisps it up on top.
Yeah, I mean, you can get coconut palm sugar, you can get coconut oil. Coconut oil is really good to use instead of butter for a lot of these dishes. So you can look in your recipe books and perhaps ones that you normally make, just alternate with, instead of using butter or margarine or olive oil, use the coconut oil instead.
Yeah, because I used to work for the famous Champneys Health Club.
Oh, did you?
Yes, back in the 80s.
I
used to
around the
cook.
corner from them.
Well, I used to work in the other one at Henlow.
Many
Many years ago, and I used to cook for celebrities then, and it was a real learning curve because I was a professionally trained chef. I used to work at the Café Royal and a few other restaurants around the area. Some people may remember me. It was the middle 80s, right. And I then went there and cooked, and it was a real eye opener for me to cut back on the fats and the sauces and everything else, and it was amazing to develop new skills.
Yeah.
And I learned quite a lot. I don't cook professionally now. I haven't done for quite a few years now, about 15 years. But I still enjoy going out and trying new foods. And butternut squash is something I've been out to South Africa a few times, and it's very, very popular out there.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those foods that's sort of now suddenly becoming popular, isn't it? And people have sort of looked at it for years and thought, that's a funny looking thing. What do I do with it? And I think that's the problem. We all go to the supermarkets. When I was a kid, you used to be able to buy sort of tomatoes only during the summer and oranges during the winter. But now you go to every supermarket you go to, it's like a cornucopia of different things. You look at some things and think, well, I'll buy that, but what am I going to do with it?
Yeah. Well, all the recipes in my book are really, really simple. They're not complicated at all. There's no recipe that takes more than half an hour. So, all the ingredients that I use, there's not too many in one recipe. It's trying to make it as simple and as efficient as possible. And yeah, I mean, butternut squash is incredibly filling. It's really, really dense. It's delicious in its texture and its taste. So it's a great one to use. I've used it quite a few, actually. I've got a risotto, I've got a curry, and I've got the stuffed butternut squash because I just love it.
Yes, one of the things I use it in for when I cook at home is I put it in curry, and it sort of bulks it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, And also, butternut squash seems to last forever, doesn't it? If you have it in your house, I don't know, it seems to last for months.
Well, I've got it, I keep it in the, I keep it out in the, I've got like a vegetable rack. I'm giving you the rundown of my house now. I've got it in like a vegetable rack, and then once I cut it, I put it in the fridge. And it's still there 2 weeks later. It's still absolutely as if I bought it the day before. So it's one of those things. So it's one of those great superfoods, isn't it? It really is. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah. Pumpkin's great as well. It's a similar one. It's, again, multi-delicious.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I mean, you've just sort of touched on where you live. I wasn't going to say too much, but you've got a place down in Chesham where you a wellbeing centre.
Yes, we have. We're in Chartridge, which is a village just outside Chesham, and it's the Body Rescue Fitness and Wellbeing Centre. And my husband and I are personal trainers. He's an ex-professional footballer, and he's now a physio and a personal trainer. And it's a lovely gym. It's a personal training gym. We have a studio where we do yoga classes and Pilates and circuit trainings, and then we have 2 therapy rooms. So it's really, really private. We've got plenty of parking. It's just a great ambience for somebody who wants real personal attention.
Because I think the thing that puts a lot of people off, should we say, the gyms, is that it's happened to me. You go there and you're in there on the cross trainer or etc., and you look across and there's Mr. Muscles. And,
yeah, I know.
And I find that. I think that's, I mean, especially when you're starting out, if it's your first or second time or whatever, and you look across and you see him, you think, oh my goodness, you know, it's like the school bully, isn't it? You know, and you think, oh, you know, I'm never going to be like that. You know, and I must admit, I found it very disheartening, and I think possibly a lot of the listeners have as well. And
yeah, well, a lot of our clients come to us because they either don't like the gym because they feel self-conscious, or they don't like the gym because it's sweaty, or we have high-profile clients, so they don't like the gym because they're high-profile. So, yeah, there's lots of reasons why people may not necessarily want to go to a public gym. And also, you know, the whole kind of fitness industry is changing quite a lot now. There's a lot more outdoor fitness. There's a lot more sort of fun and fitness with Zumba. So actual gyms tend to be less used these days. Well,
I think so. I mean, I used to be a member of one, and as far as I understand it, it's not doing quite as well as it used to be. It's owned by one of the famous people, so we won't say too much where it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody was looking to sort of get fit, get healthy, what would the sort of, in a short sort of like couple of lines, what advice would you offer them?
Get fit and healthy.
Yeah, or you know, change their life. Then how would you sort of sum it up in sort of a couple of or a paragraph or so?
I would say the first thing you want to do is give up caffeine and sugar, even if it's just for 2 weeks, because it will completely change how you feel. It will give you more energy. It will make you feel a lot slimmer. You'll probably lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. And then I would say find something in fitness that you enjoy and that you'll do regularly. So team up with someone else, use a personal trainer, but make yourself accountable to somebody else and make sure that you enjoy it. And have a look at your mindset. So think about what are your trigger points, because we all have them. What are your trigger points? A, for the negative side, so what's making you want to eat more and in certain situations, and what are your trigger points for giving you loads of energy. So when people work out, like for me, for instance, I love listening to music when I work out. It's a trigger point for me, a positive one. You know, I want to work out, or if I put on fitness clothes, I want to work out. So, yeah, those 3 things. Have a little detox, make yourself accountable to somebody else, and find out what your trigger points are.
Okay, I know you're tight for time. One more thing. I mean, I think people are frightened about the sort of cost of sort of like personal trainers. They're not as expensive as everybody thinks they are they?
Well, it's an investment, isn't it?
I think it is. I mean, yes. I mean.
A lot of my clients come to me because they have no energy and they're not doing very well at work and they're having a bad home life. And if I can completely change your life, if I can make you a lot more productive at work, if I can make you your cognitive function much more efficient, if I can give you loads more energy, if I can make your relationship better with your spouse, with your kids, you know, how much is that worth to you?
It could be worth years to your life, if nothing else, couldn't it? Anyway, I know you're sort of tight for time today. I mean, how can people sort of interact with you? I know you have a website. It's called bodyrescue.net.
Yes.
Are you on the infamous Twitter? And
I am, yeah. I am on Facebook and Twitter. Twitter is Christianne_W. So my name is spelt Christ and then IANNE. So it's Christianne_W. And I'm Christianne Wolff on Facebook, and my surname's WOLFF. And bodyrescue.net. You can find me on there as well, or info@bodyrescue.net.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time today, Christian.
Thank you so much.
don't you know, don't you know? Whoa. Beautiful, don't you know, no, no. Live your life, live your life. Let that love inside. It's your life, it's your life. Got to live it right. Take your time, take your time. Take this sexy time. Lose your head, lose your head. The beauty's deep inside, inside you. Don't let them bring you down, no. The beauty is inside you. Don't let them bring you down, no. The beauty is inside you. Don't let them bring you down. 'Cause you start your life today. Live any thought you dreamed of. Everywhere, everywhere, everywhere I go. Everywhere that I've been, the only thing I see is beautiful people. Beautiful people. Beautiful people. Beautiful people. Oh, don't you know, don't you know? Oh, you're beautiful, don't you know? Oh, don't you know, don't you know? Oh, beautiful, don't you know, no, no. Take your time, take your time. Take this sexy time. Lose your head, lose your head. The beauty's deep inside, inside you. Don't let them bring you down, no. The beauty is inside you. Don't let them bring you down, no. The beauty is inside you. Don't let them bring you down. Everywhere, everywhere, everywhere I go. Everywhere that I've been, the only thing I see is beautiful people. Beautiful people. Beautiful people. Beautiful people. Oh, don't you know, don't you know? Oh, you're beautiful, don't you know? Oh, don't you know, don't you know? Oh, beautiful, don't you know, no, no.
For the best travel locations around the globe, book your seat for the John Gwynn Travel Show on Seclo Sounds every Monday at 12 noon. Hear the latest advice and recommendations to help you achieve maximum enjoyment and value from your trip, no matter where you want to go or what you want to do. Also, check out John's travel report as he reveals the things that the travel industry could do better. The John Gwynn Travel Show, Mondays at 12 noon on Seclo Sounds. Check it out before you check in.
Here we are, especially for Christianne Wolff. That's Chris Brown and Beautiful People. What a packed show today. We're almost out of time. I'd like to thank my guest today. We had obviously just recently Christianne Wolff, and also Chris Grayson of Open Mic UK. Next week on the show, I have musician Nigel Stonier. He's married to Thea Gilmore, so great pedigree. He's a producer and has a new album out. And I'm also joined on the show next week by Karen Rabjohn. She's from Garden House Hospice, and she's going to be talking about Garden House Hospice and their big fundraiser they have coming up. So tune in next week for that. As always, I've been Terry Sullivan. This has been the Sticks Radio Show. Until next time, it's bye for now, and I leave you with the Pet Shop Boys. And it's a sin.
MK Pulse proudly sponsors Seclo Sounds. MK Pulse is Milton Keynes' local magazine, bringing helpful information on food, health, fashion, money, travel, culture, and much more to 66,000 readers every month. Plus news, views, and what's on from around the city. If it's happening in Milton Keynes, it's in MK Pulse, and it's available online at www.mkpulse.co.uk. MK Pulse and Seclo Sounds, the heart and soul of the city.